Hi, my name is Ian Hesketh and I'm the International Missions Director for Elim UK. Over the years, we've sent hundreds of missionaries across the globe to make much of Jesus. And in the days that lie ahead, we are going to be seeking to equip hundreds of more missionaries to train thousands of disciple makers to reach millions of people until there's nowhere left to go. We want to plant multiplying gospel communities in every nation until Jesus is made famous and as many as possible can encounter him with the good news. So why don't you join us?
Hello, my name's Rachel McDonough and I am an Elim pastor serving as a missionary in Paraguay with my husband John McDonough, and we have two children, Alicia and Jessie. We minister in and around Paraguay, reaching out into communities where there is no other work or ministry going on, and into First Nation groups where they have not yet heard the gospel even for the first time. We help young adults that are leaving institutionalized care, helping them with getting to grips with their new lives, being able to work out how to live, to finance, to be able to even cook sometimes, and to be able to know who God is outside in their new life. So I have been given Acts 23 to share with you today. I hope you've all had the chance to read the chapter. There's just a few little things that jump out of me that, as I've read this, have really encouraged me and blessed me. When I first look in verse 1, it says, Paul said, "My brothers, I have fulfilled my duty to God in all good conscience to this day." What I really love about the way that Paul speaks here is that he knows his purpose. He knows what he is doing in all his circumstances. So even though once again he is put before people, he is having to testify, he can do so with a clear conscience that he is not wasting his time, that he is taking care of all the stuff that God has given into his ministry, into his mission. And for me, I find that really challenging. There are days, especially at the moment, whilst we're in quarantine and in lockdown and ministry has taken on a whole new form and we're having to work out how to communicate with people, especially with people that don't have access to technology or regular internet, that we are having to find new ways to minister and speak to them. And I feel like sometimes, am I really achieving this? Am I making the best use of my time? But it's been incredible to see that just remembering to send somebody a WhatsApp message at the right moment has been a blessing and an encouragement to them. And that gives me confidence in the fact that, yes, I know that through all of this, God is giving me my commission and that I am able to say with a clear conscience, I'm completing my duty. And I want to encourage you today that if you're feeling a bit lost or a bit confused as to what you should be doing at this time, to just pray and ask God and say, Lord, show me what my duty is during this time, so that you too can continue with your great commission. The other bit that really stands out to me in verse 11 is that when he hears from God that he must continue testifying and he's going to be sent to Rome, that gives him hope, that gives him the reason to carry on, that no matter what trials he's going through in that moment, in that location, that he knows that nothing will stop until God gets him to Rome. When we first came out to Paraguay, we came on a kind of fact-finding mission and to come and see what the work opportunities were here, and that was way back in 2007. And I remember coming out and thinking, this is it. I feel like Paraguay's home. I'd already served overseas in Honduras as a missionary short term with Alex and Alethea Granham, and I did 3 months there, and I felt God really put a call to missions on my heart. And when I got to Paraguay the first time, I remember saying to my husband, this just feels like home, like we've always been here. And what was incredible was that gave me hope for where I was going to be called to. What I didn't know was that it would then take another further 2 years till I finally got out onto the mission field long term. And after that first year, I would be asked to move location and go somewhere else. But because I had that hope and that promise that Paraguay was my mission field, Paraguay was to be my ministry and my home, that no matter what we went through and the trials that we faced and the challenges and the training and the equipping, I could always be sure that God had a purpose for me, and I knew that I could keep going until I got to that place. And so no matter where you're at today, what your situation or circumstance is, that you can have a hope that God has got a purpose for you. Our purpose is to love him and serve him by loving others and loving our neighbours as ourselves, that we can go on and carry on knowing that our eternal purpose is to be with him one day, and that we just have to glorify and honour him in all of our situations and circumstances. And finally, the last point is that I love the way that from verse 12 onwards, God is using the plot of evil men to move Paul on to his next location. There are people that are out to kill him. And thankfully, he has the help of the other people around him to be able to move him on to a different location. It is not the point that he ends up in Rome, but in those awful circumstances of knowing that there are men plotting to kill him, he can see God's hand at work. Now, I don't know what you're feeling today, I don't know what you're going through, but I just want to say, you may feel nervous, you may feel scared, you may feel unsure, you may have economic problems. I want to say to you that you can trust that even through this, God is at work, God is making things happen, that he has the bigger picture in hand. Many years ago, I read a little devotion, and it talked about the way that there was a master weaver weaving up an amazing new rug. And the person that came into the room to see the new rug came and stood by the weaver, and all they could see was this big mix of different ends of threads and different colours that didn't seem to make up any particular real design. There was a pattern of sorts, but they just couldn't see it. And then the weaver said to the person, come round to the front, and revealed to them this amazing rug that just had intricate little patterns and designs that spread out evenly all over. Sometimes we feel like we're looking at the side and we don't understand what is going on, which is all a mess of threads, and there's difficulties and issues in our lives, and we can throw our hands up in despair sometimes. But we can trust that God is that master weaver, that we know that he is putting together a design so perfect, and we can trust in that every single day. So I just want to say to you this morning, I hope you are encouraged by Paul's life, and hope you are encouraged to be able to say that you can carry on completing your duty with a clear conscience, that you have hope to be able to fulfill your commission no matter where you are. And we also have a hope that no matter our circumstances, God is preparing that final picture. He is moving things into place, even when we cannot see or understand what they are. Thank you so much for coming and listening this morning. May God bless you abundantly, and may you know his presence afresh